Everybody, welcome to Snow Talk. Way Through News meteorologist Brian Good here on this Thursday. Happy Thursday to you. It's my Friday. I will not be in tomorrow, but I'll be thinking about you guys as I'm enjoying the warm, windy weather tomorrow. I know it doesn't help. All right, quick look at the stats there. Notice 14.4, that hasn't changed, obviously. Normal to date, obviously above that. But look at last year today. That is now ahead of this year. So we've had more snow taking place a year ago today. In fact, we picked up about 2 inches of snow. So not as snowy as last winter, but still an above average winter so far, and it's not done yet, of course. On the monitoring board, 2 periods, really. The first one, I'll explain how that's going to play out, how it looks today, and then the second one I'll get into as well. I will say right off the bat, I do not see any signs of a significant snow coming our way. All right, so not to be a downer, but just let you know that the ingredients are there, but I don't see them lining up exactly yet on the model trends. Doesn't mean they will or they won't. Either way, as we hit the next few days, it's something we'll just keep a close eye on. First off, though, let's talk about just how nice it is. We'll get to the good stuff first, and then we'll talk about some snow later. All right, so I got some high, thin cirrus clouds overhead. If you look carefully, you can still see a little bit of snow left over there across portions of southeast Kentucky there in the Lake Cumberland area. Kind of cool. All right, here's the wider view, nice and quiet in the Ohio Valley in general. The warm front is waiting for us just to our west, and that is where a lot of brush fires have been breaking out today across this region. Strong winds, very high fire danger, low humidity, horrible combination with those winds just blasting here out of the south and west and warming things up in a hurry. Temperatures right now, we're 47 here. It's 73 in Oklahoma City, 73 in Wichita, and 71 into Little Rock. Yes, that warmer air is heading our way. Now, will we get that warm? We'll get close, but probably not that warm, but it'll be close. Let me show you the how this is going to transpire. First off, what's going to happen is that wind that's in the plains now is heading our way. Now, we may not see gusts as high as what they're seeing, and we are not foreseeing a fire danger here for our area. Humidity looks to be okay to where we don't have to worry about that. But the strong winds will be there. Now, here's what's interesting about it. They are already ramping up. We got gusts now close to 18 to 20 miles per hour, which isn't too bad, but a little breezy outside. Watch what happens on Futurecast as the wind gust potential increases overnight tonight. So I think we're going to hit our low temperature late this evening. And then after these winds really ramp up tonight, we're going to begin to rise. And when you wake up tomorrow morning, it's going to be windy outside and warmer than what it will be when you go to bed tonight. And it's going to be probably the windiest period, I would say 10 a.m. through about 1 or 2 p.m. That is when we could have gusts that could exceed 40 miles per hour. I still think it could be at advisory level, but it's up to weather service to make a call on that. But I think it's going to be awful close to it. Those strong wind gusts around. And then the winds stay breezy, but they ease. But just enough of a flow to keep us on the warm side of things for a while. So here's Futurecast when it comes to precipitation and the numbers. Watch the low temperature tonight as we drop 39 to 40, 11 o'clock to midnight, and then after that, we rise into the 50s by 9:30 in the morning, and then we climb into the 60s. Now, how warm we get tomorrow will depend on a weak boundary we've been talking about that could squeeze out a few sprinkles as it moves in, but more importantly, cloud cover. If it moves in here too quick, that's going to cut us off at the pass. We'll probably get to about 62 to 64. If it waits a little longer to move into here, and I think it will, and with that strong south flow, I think we will overachieve. So I think we have a good shot at upper 60s for tomorrow. It passes on by. It stays relatively cloudy, but warm, relatively warm, as we get into Friday night and Saturday. So only lows in the 50s for Friday night and Saturday. That hopefully will give your furnace a break if you can handle that. And then here's the key part on Saturday's warmth. We're still thinking around 70 for high, but it will all depend on how much of this northern fringe clears out. Now, if the cloud deck, as you just saw, stays intact, a little more over at Louisville, we won't get there. But if we see the cloud deck erode away enough, especially for Indiana, northern Kentucky, I think upper 60s to around 70 is certainly going to be reachable for Saturday. That would not be a record. The record is 74. And then we deal with a wave coming our way. Now, the models kind of have it all over the place up to the north. Some bring it right along, as you see here on the RPM model. Either way, they do trend. The rain chance will go up late Saturday night, probably after midnight through Sunday morning. Maybe some thunder, but nothing severe expected. And then that will continue into Sunday afternoon. So Sunday will be a cooler day, but still have a chance to hit 60 or so for the afternoon. It'll depend on how close this tracks. I mean, the RPM takes it over us, so I would bet again 60s and that kind of a setup. But the other models take it to the north, which would allow us to not be in the entire rain zone all day, which we would have a better chance of getting the 60s. We'll fine tune as we get closer. Beyond that, looking at the indices, this is interesting. I mean, PNA is the highest level coming up that I've seen probably so far this winter, which tells me that the jet stream is going to be going up the west coast and down on the east coast. The NAO is trying to go negative for the first time this winter as well, which would mean slower systems, more blocking, and stronger storm systems to impact the eastern half of the country. The Arctic oscillation is not shown here, but it also tinks negative. So it tells us the cold air is moving down. There's going to be a dip in the east, and the pattern is not going to move much. It's going to be slow. So that means it's a colder pattern for our neck of the woods as we end out February and begin March based on the indices today. And the models are really showing that. And here's the key, though, for next week. This is how we're going to try to tackle this. First off, there's two pieces here. There's that piece on Sunday, as I talked about, that can either go right over us or just to our north on Sunday. That is getting sampled today. Today's model runs really somewhat show up. I think tomorrow's will show it even more. And then there's another piece of energy that really comes out of the Rockies. It kind of emerges over the Rockies. That it really doesn't show up until it gets caught in the southern jet and then rolls out. That really is not going to get a sampling until tomorrow or Saturday. So we still have more sampling here of both pieces that we need to monitor as we head into early next week. So it's not set in stone how this is going to look. So I'm just showing you the models. But keep in mind, there will be some adjustments still, and that's important to note because the adjustments are key. And one thing I want you to look for you model watchers, is this front. There's going to be a front attached to that low that comes by on Sunday. If the front goes all the way down here to the Gulf states, more than likely, the low pressure that will develop is going to go up the coast. Little, if any, impact on us. If the front does not make it all the way down to that area, then there is a greater risk for us to be in the precipitation shield, but also a greater risk for it to be more rain than snow. So it's a give or take scenario. Here is the GFS, though. It takes to the south on Monday. That means the low pressure will then go up the eastern seaboard. Again, a little, if any, impact on us. Maybe some snow in East Kentucky. Another little piece here, which is important, because if this piece doesn't face a deep trough or doesn't really dig that much, it would head due east. It would be a potential snowmaker for us for Wednesday night. We'll watch it and see, because here's the impact it'll have. It shows it fading out, not being a big deal. Let me show you the Euro now. Just came in. It's betting on the idea of the front going to the Gulf states, the I-10 corridor on Monday. Therefore, it takes the low pressure, as I mentioned, more up the east coast. The NAO going negative is the problem here. It's likely to go more north, but the problem is there's a big blocking high up here to the north, and it's trying to force that a little more out to sea. So there's still some issues to resolve there for how much of an angle this is going to take. I don't foresee it going up Kentucky at this point. I think it's going to be a Carolinas track. The only thing that can go up into Kentucky would be this piece. This piece, this upper low, has a better chance to go through Kentucky on the heels of the surface low here on the east coast, and this would be probably more Wednesday. That is the one that, if we're going to get snow, I think has the best chance to do that. Now, the Euro digs it way to the south, all the way into the Gulf of Mexico, and misses us completely. But I don't think the items here have been sampled enough to resolve that. So to kind of summarize, we've got the one piece that comes out, the Carolinas, out of that stalled front. That'll be into Tuesday and early Wednesday, and then we've got another little piece that'll dive down. The question is, does that move up through Kentucky, or does that dig all the way into the Gulf like the Euro is saying? And that is where I think we've got to keep it on the monitoring board for now. Keep an eye on it. But there is no model data really showing a strong signal of what I think will end up happening, but we'll see how it plays out. Here's the Canadian, just to show you. Here's that first piece. Again, grays in southern Kentucky. This is a rain-snow mix for southeast Kentucky, and likely just snow in the higher elevations of Kentucky, likely out of wave country completely. And then it takes that second piece and, again, dives it to the south. So we will resolve this. We've got the weekend to fine-tune the details. Let's worry about this later. Let's enjoy the warm weather this weekend, because I really am excited about that. I'm a snow lover, but I'm excited about the warm weather. I really am. So let's enjoy that, and we'll try to fine-tune these two pieces and see how they will impact the East Coast as we get more data. Do want to mention, though, that after it goes by, there's good support here of another wave on the 26th of February heading into the last weekend of February, and that one would likely be snow. In other words, as I said before, the ridge in the west, trough in the east, PNA is positive, and that pattern is likely to lock in at least to the first week of March, perhaps longer. We'll see how that goes. We'll take it a week at a time. All right, guys, have a good day. I'll see you on the evening news tonight. Otherwise, I will talk to you guys on Monday.